Hey, Dylan Thompson, Chase Motorsports, Paducah, Kentucky. So, gonna take you around the 2011 International LoneStar. This coach is ready to go out in the morning. It's actually leaving for Phoenix, Arizona, and the gentleman that purchased it, I had promised that we would do a walk around. I'm not an expert with them, but I know quite a bit, so we're gonna show you a little bit around the coach inside and out. One of the key things, we'll start up here on the front end, the hood latches. So sometimes people see that they're hid. This one's a little different how International does it, but literally lift up on the bottom. There's one on each side, so there is no handles inside the coach to release the hood. You have one on the right side and one on the left side. As you can see, Jim will kind of zoom in here. We do have the brand new steers we mounted, and the front end was aligned on this coach. A diesel, so you have diesel on both sides. You want to use just the ultra low sulfur, just your standard diesel that you're going to buy at any truck stop. So nothing special there. There is a tank on both sides. It kind of covers the nose of it there. So some of the doors they do on these Silver Crowns are like more of a bus style door that comes up, as you can see this one. So this door here, simple, close it, pull the latch, pulls out, and there are LED lights that are on a sensor. You can see when the door closes, the light goes off, and it will automatically come on when the door is open. These doors, I want to explain how to open them. People break these handles all the time. As a matter of fact, I broke one when we were fixing to shoot the photos. So to open it, give the door a little push in, which relieves the pressure off of the little spring-loaded latches, okay? And they're tied to cables that hooks to this handle. So give it a little gentle push, pull in the handle, and then grab the bottom, okay? And you're gonna pull out the top, pull out the bottom, kind of help it up. Now there are air-charged little nitrogen shocks that are gonna help keep the door up like it sets. So when you get ready to close, grab the door, grab the bottom, kind of pull down, and you can kind of hold on to the handle here. When it goes down, give it a nice push, because you got 4 latches on the Silver Crown. A lot of these coach manufacturers only put 2. Well, what does that do to the bottom of the door? It lets it just walk around, but these are 4-point latches. So there's 2 on top, 2 on bottom. So we got storage, storage, storage. On down here, we have the inverter area, okay? So we have a Magnum, one of the Synwave inverters, which works better with a lot of newer electronics and stuff. And the way the inverter works, I'm sure you know, but you take battery voltage, a 12-volt output on the batteries. It runs through the inverter and creates 120 volts. So running down the road without the generator on, you can run outlets for a cell phone charger, your refrigerator, your TVs, your audio system. It saves hours on the generator. So that is what that system is for. Now, down in this compartment, you open this up, and you have a lot of your relays. There's relays, there's fuses, so a lot of your 12-volt, if you ever have an issue on the 12-volt system, you can see it's 12-volt panel, truck battery, TRC power. These are the solenoids that hook to the battery disconnect. So when we go inside, I'll show you where the button's at, but you'll, like when you hit the disconnect button, you'll hear one of these solenoids click, and what it's doing is shutting power from the house batteries off, and it turns all the 12-volt lighting and stuff like that off. We had discussed this, a little older school, but it's simple and it works, and the chance of failure is way less than the automatic transfer switch. So we did dress this up a little better in here. We've still got a few things to clean up on it, but basically when you're plugged into shore power, you click this way. If you fire your generator up, let the generator actually come up and run for a second. Let it warm up. Let it get voltage all the way up, and all you have to do is pop that guy to that side, and it pulls from the generator. The batteries are brand new, so there's 6 brand new Interstate brand batteries we just replaced. Actually, we put these on this morning, so they're brand new, and these batteries are deep cycle, heavy duty. So this inverter, we covered the shore power. Your fuses are up in there for the 12-volt side. This is a reel right here. If you ever had one of the awnings that got stuck, let's say power went out, there's a power issue, you can actually manually hand crank the Girard awnings back in with that handle. Next section here is your Oasis. So the way Oasis works is it either takes electricity and makes hot water through a coil, or it takes diesel fuel, which works off the same diesel that it's in your truck tank. So there's not like a separate tank to fill up to make this system work. But the Oasis system is a very maintenance-free. You want to make sure, a couple of key things. Every once in a while, change out the fuel filter. I say minimum of once a year. And this one has been changed. So that fuel filter is brand new, and it's a diesel fuel filter. This is your antifreeze. So it's called RV boiler antifreeze. It's not like regular antifreeze you put in a car. I'm not sure what the difference is, but they say there is a difference, so we just follow the protocol, and you want to put the boiler antifreeze in it. This system's, like I said, the level or failure is very low. I mean, we rarely work on them. They're pretty maintenance free, so keep the fuel filter changed. Keep that guy when it's cold here, if the system's running midways to the top line. We'll go on around the back. You do have a 2 5/16 ball on this, and which I think you told me you wanted the receiver style, so I will change that. I just thought of that, so I will change that out here in just a second. But basically, to change it, you just pull this little lever, slide the pin out. These are heavy, but it slides up out of this track, and at that point, you can put whatever style receiver on it you want. You have the 7-way round plug, which is used for like most semis. This is a 7 flat. It's a 7-spade flat plug, which is going to be more for trailer with electric brakes, or if you're towing a car behind you or something, you would tie into that one. These are glad hand fittings. Instead of having the old school glad hands, I guess the trailer that was towed at one point had quick connect fittings, kind of like an air chuck. So again, not sure if you'll use that stuff, but you've got an air pressure line and a return line there for the air brakes on a trailer, or if you had air ride on a trailer, you can also tie into that system. Essentially, in the cab of the truck, when you press the red valve in, that activates air pressure to one of those valves, and it's going to raise the air ride up on a trailer. And then the other one's a return line. When you hit the brake pedal on the truck, it activates the trailer brakes. In here is, again, pretty simple. You've got the PVC storage is for a sewer tube if you wanted to carry a big sewer hose. This actually has a macerator pump set up, but that is a place to put a sewer hose. I am throwing in one of the 50 amp to 120 volt adapters, so you could plug this coach into 120. Now, that's not to run the roof airs or turn everything on. It's just to maintain. If you were at an area that you didn't want to run the generator, but you wanted to keep the batteries charged up, you can plug this in and to the shore power line, plug it into a wall outlet, and essentially keep at least the batteries charged and the fridge on. Now, again, you can't run the roof airs, all of them, maybe one of them off this, but not all of them. The reel is on a retract, so it's manual pull out. So you don't have to press a button to pull it out, but you press this to reel it in. You also have here a 50 amp output, okay? So what that is, some people mount them here, some people mount them on the back of the truck, but let's say you were pulling a trailer that had an air conditioner on it and some other things, and you wanted to run the generator on the truck and power the truck and the trailer. Well, you could plug into here. That's a 50 amp hot, which let's imagine we had a trailer here, we could run a cord right out into our trailer and power it up. On down to the generator, it is a 12.5 Onan. And we're showing 46.56 on the hours. We just serviced it, so it doesn't have a 1 hour on the serviced oil. We normally recommend about 250 to 350 hours. I mean, if you're kind of OCD like me, I change them every 200 hours, but it's probably overkill. I think Onan says 3 to 350, or maybe it's even higher than that. So my guys put on the label around 350, but couple hundred hours. To me, maintenance is key. We replace the air filter, fuel filter, engine oil filter, and the engine oil itself. So all that's been done. Drive tires, Michelin, the XZs, great condition, seem to have good tread depth left, and no dry cracking or dry rotting. This is actually the door I broke the handle on. So you can see that the handle's brand new. Mr. Jim put that in for us and everything works. But let's kind of zoom in down here. There's a lot of important stuff down here. So you do have this hose right here is for city fill, or it's also to, it's for city water or to fill your tank. So, and here's how it works. You plug into it, and if you want to fill your water tank, which is under the bed, you turn this like this, okay? So put water to this, water pressure out of like a faucet or whatever you're plugged into, and turn this up, and if you got pressure going in there, it's going to fill the tank, okay? If this is off and you put pressure to it, it's going to put what we call city water, which is like water pressure from an outside source. So city water goes into here, and then you have water all throughout your coach, and you're not having to run your 12-volt pump. This right here is an electric reel that's going to, again, this is manual pull out, press the button to sucking back in, okay? This is the sewage pump. So you take this little guy, he just kind of sets up in there, pull him out, put him on your sewer drain, turn this on, and pull the valves. Now, you want to pull the black tank first and give it about, the sewer does flow a little slower through that style versus the big hose, but put him down in your sewage drain, pull this valve, let it run for 10 or 20 minutes. You'll kind of hear the pump get a little loud, I guess you would say, when it's running dry. Then pull your gray. And so what the gray does, it flushes out your hose, and essentially if you lay your hose back in there with a little black water residue in it, it's not leaking out everywhere. It's just shower water or sink water at that point. So turn your pump on, pull this out, pull the black valve first. You do have an exterior shower in here, so you could shower off literally outside, or a lot of people use it for washing their hands after they mess with the sewage. Another thing, if you put water pressure to this from an outside source, you can take this valve and turn it on, and what it does is it flushes the black tank. So if you turn that valve on with pressure going to that, let it run 10 minutes, and it just flushes water in, leave your pump on, leave your black tank valve out, and it's just flushing the system. So that's all in that compartment. We'll move down. These are just blocked off because of the black tank. Someone has added at some point, one more thing I want to point out, someone has added an extra black valve to this coach. So you can undo that cap, hook a big sewer hose to him, pull, and that's just a backup. I don't think you guys will ever use it unless you were literally out on the road, primitive camping with no dump, like for maybe 7 to 10 days. But you can pull that valve, hook the big hose to that, and it'll dump the secondary black tank. Next down is going to be the engine batteries. So there's a couple things. One of your air storage tanks is under here, and there's also your engine batteries. They are also brand new. So if you pull those 2 bungee cords, there's 4 brand new high cranking amp batteries that start the truck engine under that cover. On around the truck. Okay, so this is the block heater. So pull the little flap out here and plug an extension cord in. If you were ever in an area with a really cold climate, you can plug that up, and basically it makes this truck want to start up much easier in a very cold climate. So take an extension cord, plug it in, and it's not going to hurt anything. You may never be in an area when you need it, but if you were Montana, North Dakota, where it's like 20, 30 degrees, these things, like any semi, don't want to start sometimes. So if you plug it in, that will be a whole lot better. We'll go ahead and pop the hood. I just think it'd be good to show you how clean it is underneath. I'm going to pop both of the latches, and then to open the hood, there is 2 places to put your hands up here. So essentially, just pull on them, and it'll rotate forward. Yeah, come over to this side, Jim, and we'll show them. So you've got your oil dipstick here. That's where you put your engine oil in at, and then you check it here. So we did put new shocks on the truck. Again, as I mentioned earlier, the steer tires are brand new. We've greased everything. I don't know of anything that you'll really mess with under here. We will go to the other side, and I'll show you. The truck does have an upgraded intake system. and an oversized turbo. So that's where you're going to really get that big horsepower from. And that's the 2 upgrades that that the gentleman had made that really helps him out. So we'll shut the hood again. To shut it, all you just push forward, hold on to these 2 handles that are kind of built into the hood, and it goes down. There we go. All right, so we'll go on inside and kick our shoes off here at the base of the steps, and we'll take you in and show you a few things on the inside. All right, so first thing I want to show you is this. Too cool. So this goes back to Silver Crown and thinking outside the box. So I was looking and I was thinking, where is the cover for the step? I mean, because normally they all come. I looked and I thought, well, maybe the gentleman that previously owned it forgot to give it to us, or maybe he never had it or whatever. But how neat is that? So that's built into the wall, but it lets down. So if you're walking around in here and you accidentally back up, you don't fly through the door there. So again, just trick stuff like that is what sets these coaches apart from the other brands. Main thing on this side, and then we'll go towards the kitchen. Inside this cabinet, so we'll start on the top, okay? This is going to be a remote control for the awnings, and it'll say number 1 or number 2. Number 1 will be like the front awning, number 2 will be the back awning, okay? And you press it, you'll do in or out, and you'll watch the awning come out. You can also take and run the awning manually, okay? So if this ever messed up, you can also take and run it manually with this control. Channel 1 is for the front awning. Channel 2, normally the way they're all wired, channel 2 is the rear, channel 1's the front. So you can go in, out, or stop. Stop is if it was running out and you notice it was fixing to hit something, you can press the stop and it will stop. Your 12-volt water pump's here, so you turn him on. There's also another water pump switch here, so you got to make sure they're both on. This one on and this one on, okay? This is a battery gauge. It shows we're at 12 volts. You can check your fresh water, gray water, black water. I love the RV monitor systems, but I've never quite believed in them. There's always, like, for instance, you can have a black tank showing it's 3/4 full, and you're like, well, I just emptied it. If it had a piece of toilet paper or something hung on a sensor that was wet that's grounding it out, that's how it works. It works off of a grounding system. So always just make sure your gray and black's emptied when you have the opportunity. Always fill your fresh water up when you can. I give them a 7 out of a 10. They're not dead on accurate all the time, but they do normally work. Burner, so this goes to the Oasis, okay? Burner means diesel heat. That means you're going to use diesel from your diesel tanks to run through a burner and make hot water. AC heat, okay? AC1, AC2. AC1 means one coil is going to come on. AC1 and AC2 means it's going to turn both coils on. Engine preheat means it's actually going to run some hot water through the motor, which is kind of like turning the block heater on. I guess in a sense it's the same thing. Generator control. So you can start the generator out there, or you can also start it here. Just hold the button down and you'll hear him come on. This is your battery disconnect. So use and store. This guy, if you were not using the coach and it was in storage and you didn't want to take a chance of anything inside the coach running it down, you can hit store and it kills everything instantly. This is exterior lights. So when you turn this on, you'll notice some lights outside the coach. They look like marker lights, but they're actually more for decoration. This is awning lights. This is your step light. And this is a momentary switch. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that connects the two sets of batteries together. Again, don't quote me on that. I think that's what that goes to. We will move on to this. So this is going to run one of your roof airs. You've got auto or on for your fan, cool, off, gas heat, electric heat. Electric heat's going to be the heat pump in the roof air. Gas heat is going to come from your hot water. So you would want this on and then turn it on gas heat, and it will use some of the hot water to make hot air essentially, and then you can turn the fan speed from low to high. This is a fantastic vent for in here in the main living area. You can turn it on, off, manual. It does have a rain sensor. Those work pretty good, so if it started raining and the vent was up, it will close on its own. You do have a light panel, so if you hit the master, you notice all the lights kill. So it's real simple. Hit the master again, all the lights come on. You've got your water pump. This is all lights, which you can turn the master on and then turn certain lights off if you want to. And then down here is your slide. So you got living room slide in or out, and it is a hydraulic slide. So when you turn it on, you're going to hear the pump start kind of making a squealing noise. It's going to grab the cylinder, moving fluid through the cylinder, and either push it in or push it out if you're going slide out or slide in. Let's see here. Up here, you've got more fuses. It's also got the VIN number of the coach and some information on how much it weighs. But a lot of this is labeled pretty good, and it's got little lights here that light up. If the fuse is bad, obviously the light won't be green. Over here is another fuse panel. More fuses. So, and it shows out here what everything goes to. Okay. We'll move on. This cabinet is storage with like some little pantry slide out doors. Your fridge. So something we installed today, when the fridge came in, it had a like a bungee strap around it, which worked. Nothing wrong with how it was done or whatever. But I think a much cleaner look is the stainless latches. So when you're using the fridge, you've got, you undo the latch, and then when you're going down the road, you close it and move that little guy over, and you know, it won't open. So the little hook goes through. But again, don't go tugging on the door handle. We had a guy one time almost rip the door in half, thinking it was like vacuum sealed shut, and it was simply the latch was just locked. So down here, same way on the freezer. You've got the freezer drawer pulls out. It's 2 wire baskets. Very simple how it's set up. But when you close it, you can do that, and it's just a small safety. It's just to keep from going down the road, and you got some weight in the freezer, and all of a sudden here it all comes. So you do have a 2-burner cooktop. Again, real simple. You got on, off, low, high, and these guys get super hot, and you can set the temp setting. This right here is your microwave, and again, pretty self-explanatory, but you want to set your time when you do get it out there, and then that won't flash each time, because I actually don't think it'll let you go to another setting until you set the time up. This was cool, and I showed you guys this in one of the first videos, but you put a small trash bin or bag or whatever there, and you just pull this up and drop your trash in. So, again, it's little stuff that I think is super cool on the higher-end coaches, but that's what that's for. Over here, your standard sink that's got 2 bays in it, and then you have the dishwasher is down here. It actually has some stuff with it, but you probably want to get a little more. You basically put it in, you set it on heavy, normal, fast, or eco mode where it uses very little water. Hit go, shut it, and then you actually have to hit the play button out here, and it'll come on. Make sure your water pump's on if you're not in an RV park, and then if you're in an RV park, make sure the water feeding into the coach is on. TV, pretty self-explanatory there. Some of your audio stuff is up here. The previous owner did leave the DirecTV system in there. Most of the time they take them with them. It does have a card. You might be able to call the previous owner and get the card in your name. Or if you call a DirecTV guy out, they may bring a whole new box. Sometimes these boxes get outdated, and DirecTV will tell you, hey, you know, we don't use that box anymore, but here's the new one we do use. This is your track vision. So this is for the satellite that's on the roof. If you're using the DirecTV, you will need that box on. This is a Blu-ray DVD player, and then a Sony receiver that goes for the surround sound. In the cab, pretty self-explanatory here. We'll kind of go over some of these switches. So we will start by when you fire the truck up, you want to let the air come up. So a little buzzer will go off until the primary and the secondary air, which is the 2 gauges on the right side. When those both come up to about a 90 or 100 pounds, the alarms will go off. And then you never want to push this valve in unless you're pulling a trailer that requires air brakes or a trailer that has air rides. So you just want to push this one in, and once you push that one in, hold your foot firmly on the brake and press drive. And you'll watch on the dash, a little light will blink, and you'll kind of feel the truck kind of engage, I guess, and you'll see the which speed you're in will kind of hold firm and then take off. You've got in-dash navigation and then a camera system. This is a stereo Kenwood in-dash navigation. You also have a camera system here. And then the old camera or old monitor they took out, they mounted over there, which I thought was kind of neat. So your passenger can watch, or if you don't want to look down, if you're kind of looking out, you can glance to the right and you'll see another screen over there. You do have mirror heat. This is sleeper temp. You won't really worry about that because that's if the truck had the factory sleeper on it, so that's probably disconnected. This is your exhaust brake, and this thing sounds awesome. I mean, awesome with those big stacks. So you do 1, 2, or 3 cylinders, and then when you set the cylinders, you do have to go over here and hit engine brake on or off. And when you push that, you'll notice a thing on the dash that'll come on that says engine brake on or off. This is your fog lights. This is off-road, which I'm pretty sure turns on some low LED lights on the front. This is your fan override where you can manually lock the fan. This is your suspension where you can dump the rear. I don't really know of a reason you would do that. Sometimes we dump them here when we're trying to wash one and we want the water to run backwards off the roof. We'll dump them, but to me, that's mainly something that the air dump if you were hooking up to a trailer maybe and you wanted to lower the ball down. Next one is differential front axle. So this has locking rear diffs. So if you were in a muddy area and you didn't have the diff lock in, only one side of the wheels would spin. So you could lock the front axle, lock the rear. Again, I see a lot of guys that race a dirt track that are leaving a muddy pit area or something use it, but more than likely where you guys will drive this, you won't need that. This is regen. That's all been removed. So this truck has been deleted. Essentially, that is just a blank switch. It does not go to anything. You press it, and it's not going to do anything to the truck. These are spares. Sometimes people will wire these to lights. That's stuff you just want to play with and kind of see. Down here, you've got your air, how to set it, where you want it coming out at. You can manually shift this truck. So if you go to drive and hit the M, if you were in an area with big mountains and you didn't want the truck to determine what gear it wanted to stay in, let's say it shifts way up and you're like, oh man, we're fixing to hit another big hill. You can press the M and you can manually paddle shift it in a sense with a plus and minus. You do have a place you can charge your phone or plug your phone into. You've got a couple 12-volt outlets. This is a pyro temp. So that is parameter. That is going to tell you your exhaust temp. With a deleted truck, tuned truck, and the hot summer. I can get you the specs on that, or Mr. Bob can tell you, but there's a certain temp that if it got too hot, you would want to go easy on the truck and not run it as hard. But that's like dead of summer. I'm going to say Arizona heat, where you guys are going to be at. Is, you might watch that if you were traveling and it's real hot. So this is air app, so that's how much pressure when you hit your brakes. You'll watch a little gauge move. Front axle, rear axle temp, and your boost. So that's turbo boost. That's turbo pressure. Up here on the dash, you've got engine oil temp, transmission temp, water temp, oil pressure, RPMs, your speed, battery voltage, fuel gauge, and then your primary and secondary. Down here, you've got controls for your dome lights, and there's one called floor light. You've got all that. And then over here, you have the your headlights on and off. You can kind of see out the window there. It is LED headlights. And then you also have panels, so you can dim the panel or make the panel brighter. It does have an electric trailer brake controller over here to the left of the steering wheel. On this same side, you have a knob that you can lower and tilt the wheel. So that's kind of nice to have. You also have a your turn signal and your windshield wipers are on this side, and of course the key is right here. I had told you that the keyless entry, the fob is here. Previous owner said he never got it to work, so I will check the battery before it leaves, but That's what that is. Maybe something, if you ever run it by an international dealer, might need programmed. I'm not really sure. I think that pretty much covers the cab. We'll take off kind of back through. Oh, yep, automatic leveling. Jim just pointed out. So you want to be parked on somewhat level ground to start with. Make sure that your jacks are not going to go down in any loose dirt. If it is, put like what they call a leveling pad underneath it. But if you're on concrete or gravel or asphalt, all you do is turn on, hit auto level, and you normally want to do that with the slides in. I don't like leveling because it kind of moves the whole coach around. I always want my slides in, and then hit auto level. You'll hear the jacks go down, and you'll hear it kind of bump once, bump twice. It'll kind of maneuver around until it's perfectly level. It'll make a beeping noise, and then you'll notice visually that the coach is level too. And at that point, then you run your slides out. And this is hydraulic too, so you'll hear that same pump that runs your slides come on for the leveling. This guy here, as you can see in the pictures, does convert into like what I would call a Jackknife Sofa. So you essentially reach under here and pull. Hey, it's Dylan again, Chase Motorsports. So going over this 2011 International LoneStar Silver Crown coach, this is the automatic leveling system. So when you get to where you're going, you can power it on, hit auto level. The coach will level on its own. When you're done, you can hit the all retract and the coach will lower down. But if you hit auto level, the coach will level on its own. So you don't ever want to let those levelers run down in loose dirt or gravel. I've actually had one press down and sink in the mud, and it was a pain in the butt to get out. So always have a pad. I'm sure most of the time you guys will be on a concrete pad or gravel or whatever, but if it's not a hard pack surface, make sure to use some leveling pads under the levelers. The sofa, so this guy's a Jackknife Sofa. Basically, you reach under here, under the cushion, you pull up, and he folds out. So this part will lay down, as you saw in the pictures, and makes a nice little bed. This is something that I haven't really figured out. You guys can play with it. I did talk to Bob. He told me that he never used it, but what it is, it's a remote control system. Instead of having 10 different remotes for all the different TVs and stereos and direct TVs, you can run it all through that. Again, we messed with it a little bit. I called Bob to get some information. He said, man, honestly, I never used it. I just used the standard TV remotes, which are all down in this cabinet. So the manuals are in here, and I mean, there's 10 different remotes probably down here. This one you won't use. This is the old remote for the shades to run them up and down. I'm going to leave it in here because if you ever want to get it reprogrammed, you could, but the new style remote for the shades is actually over in that little cabinet when you walk into the left. So I'm going to leave this in here, but I don't think it's anything you'll ever need. This one over here, this cabinet, is pretty much just storage. And one thing we did do, Jim went through the whole coach and made sure the latches were adjusted properly and also put little rubber feet. Nothing is more annoying than going down the road and hearing the cabinets chattering against each other. So we always try to go above and beyond on that. It's, again, not a big deal until you drive one and you hear everything chattered, and then it's kind of annoying. So this chair just kind of rides here. I'm assuming when you get parked, you could set him out in the middle of the floor if you wanted, or you could remove it all together. I don't think this probably came with this coach new, even though it matches the color pretty good. I'm thinking it was the sofa hide-a-bed, or the jackknife there, with this little kind of L-shaped dinette. So, but this goes with it. It does match pretty good, but if you want the space, you can remove him. And again, we'll go over the shades. So the shades are on this controller. Setting number 1 is going to run the shades up and down, and then you can click each button, and you'll notice if you run number 6 up, you'll notice which shade's number 6. So each shade has its own number, or number 1 runs the front shades up, number 2 runs the bedroom shades up. There's 2 shades on each side of the bed, and then 1 kind of across there on the vanity area. So this is the new style MCD controller. Bob had this updated. So that big kind of tablet looking one that was in there is the obsolete one. This is the new one. I was going over the previous part of the video. I'm not sure if I touched on this. This is the floor heat. So on the side, there's an on-off switch. And then when you turn it on, you'll set the temp. And I mean, within probably 10-20 minutes, you will feel a dramatic difference in how the floor feels. And if you turn that on 85, 90, it'll heat the whole inside of the coach because it's radiant heat from the floor. So there's one of these controllers here that controls the front half of the coach, and then there's also one, actually it's right here, and this controls the bedroom side right here. The pocket doors, something to always check before you travel. Make sure the pins are shoved down in the bottom. To open the door, you raise the pin up, push in here, it makes like a little hook, and then you can slide the door. You can close the bathroom off for privacy. But when you're traveling, make sure the door is closed or in the pocket position there, and shove that through the floor. And I always kind of give them a tug. If it don't move, then you're good. So we'll move on back. The shower, is Bob had told you, we are going to put some clamps on it before we leave. So there will be a clamp here, probably one here, and one on the bottom. And Bob said to transport it in the open position. Now, me and Jim thought that was kind of funny. We thought that was a way of saying, well, we can't figure out a way to make it stay shut going down the road, because that's the first time I've ever heard that. But hey, that's what they said. We're going to go with it. It seems like it's held together really good. But as you can see, the granite, just the craftsmanship in this coach is unbelievable. Really, really, really nice. Pretty simple in here. All the latches are all push buttons. So they're spring loaded. You push them, open it, close it, push it, and it makes it kind of flush there. This is another fantastic vent. So this is going to control the vent that's right here. And just like this, how trick this is, they put like speaker, kind of like a foam almost up there, to where you don't just see the big fan, you know, that you would normally see. So you can turn them on. It's got an O2 sensor. You can manually do it, or you can set it on a temp setting and leave it on automatic. Sink. We'll move on back to the bedroom. Up above here, we'll start up here. You've got your WinGuard. It's part of your satellite system, DirecTV, Sony Entertainment, Blu-ray player. Okay. We turn all that on. It powers up. I get on the DirecTV. I think I touched base on this earlier. You'll want to get a DirecTV service out there. They're probably going to update the boxes. That's technology, and that stuff changes so fast that normally they'll always give you the new box with a new card or whatever with your subscription if you order the service. So small sink in here, super cool, because if someone's taking a shower or doing their business there, but you wanted to brush your teeth, or the ladies putting their makeup on or whatever, you got the sink here. More storage. Something you had asked about, Craig, was the inverter control. And I originally thought it was above the door, but I deal with in so many of these coaches, sometimes I get them a little confused myself. That inverter has been updated. That's not the original one in this coach, and the control is right over here. So the controller, it's Magnum Energy, and if you open this door, you'll see it. I'll let Jim come around here and kind of zoom in on what we're talking about. So you've got on, off. Right now it's charging, but you can hit the bottom button, the inverter button, and it's gonna, if you're not hooked to shore power and you're not connected to the generator power, it's going to take the battery voltage and turn it into 120. So back here, pretty simple. You got a cedar line closet, and some of these door latches are a little stiff sometimes. You just be careful. There's a little plastic thing that holds it shut. In here, just more storage, and it looks like some pillows or something there. So yeah, just again, super, super nice, man. I love all the LED lighting, and Bob said he had updated every bit of that when he had the coach. Back here on your controls, you've got a master for the master lighting, bedroom ceiling lights, bedroom sink lights, bedroom mood lights, and then you got slide in and out. Again, this slide in the back is on a hydraulics too, so if you press in, you'll hear the pump come on and the slide starts moving in. AC, so you got your own thermostat for back here, and you've got cool, off, gas heat, electric heat. Again, gas heat's gonna be, it's not really gas, I guess it could be gas, it's the diesel burning, or it's your electricity side of your Oasis system. So you got fan, auto and on, high and low. You can shut the generator down and start it from back here. And then I'll let Jim spin around, and kind of by the bed there's a little, another little panel with more lighting stuff down there so if you were in bed and you didn't want to get up to turn the lights out, you could. In fact, there's a master switch there. So if you hit that master switch on that little black controller, it kills every light in the coach. The white thing is like a doorbell camera system. I didn't mess with that. I'm not sure if that even works. I've never seen one of those on an RV, but that's what that's for. So if someone was at the door, you could turn that on, and I'm assuming there's like a little camera from what I could see by the door, but pretty cool. It's kind of, I guess, like some security or whatever. Other than that, I think that pretty much covers it. We'll walk back through and hit the restroom here. As far as the last Silver Crown that I had, they had the washer and dryer in this, which would be super easy to install. I noticed it already has a power box in there, so you could get a stacked unit and put in this cabinet. And it was the last Silver Crown I had was a 2008 model, and it had the system in here. I'll send you a picture of how it was installed if you're interested. Another pocket door. Make sure the little latch is down. If you raise it up, the door will open. If you're driving down the road, it will just wear that door out. Ceiling fan, that's something that we didn't touch on. Basically, you got a chain for the lights, and then you got a chain for the speed, but you do have a little fan in the bedroom there. Another light panel. These things, man, so many of these. I love that you can control. And now, again, water pump, you got a switch in your main panel that has the door on it, and then you can also turn the pump on here. Of course, if you're at an RV park and you're on their city water, which is basically taking pressure from like a faucet there by the coach, you won't need the water pump on. But if you were traveling down the road or you were at an area that didn't have pressurized water, you can use the water pump. In here, so pretty simple. You've got Tecma, so it is a macerator toilet, which means it grinds the sewage up and pumps it out of the toilet instead of just a gravity feed that drops into the tank. This is the way better higher end toilet. Another fantastic vent for in here, and then the toilet flush. On the toilet flush, you can do a low water flush where it uses very minimal water, or you can do a big flush, and you'll see here when you mess with that how to do it there. More storage. Again, the people who engineer not just the Silver Crowns, but they literally, Jim would agree with me, they use every square centimeter of room. So nice to see on that. Well, I hope you guys love it. I think you're going to be blown away at how nice it is, just the overall construction. But I appreciate your business, and if you have any questions, please call. Again, I don't consider myself an expert because there's so many different things to know about them, but I hope the video helped, maybe if nothing else, to prepare you for when you get the coach. You've kind of got a head start on understanding it. Yep. Oh, outdoor TV. Jim just brought up. We will show you that. Pretty simple there. You do normally want to keep it locked, but I mean, it's just a Sony. It's got an outdoor stereo, and you can make what's on the TV play through the speakers. So the remotes are Velcroed, and those go to the outdoor system. So again, give me a call if you have any questions. Shoot me a text, and I appreciate your business. Thank you.